Welcome to the History of Farmingville, presented by the Farmingville Historical Society. Farmingville, originally known as Bald Hills, was settled in 1783 by Elisha Terry. Within 10 years, there were 5 houses in the town of Bald Hills. The earliest homes, said to be built between 1790 and 1797, were owned by Daniel Terry, Elisha Terry, David Overton, and the Hammond family. Elisha Terry was born in Quorum, February 14, 1787, to T. Brewster and Elizabeth Davis Terry. When Elisha Terry began his teaching career, he was teaching students in his father's house. His first class was made up of 7 boys. Elisha and his wife Carolyn Overton Terry built their 1823 home, known today as the Terry House, on Farm to Market Road, also known as Portion Road. It was about 300 feet to the east of College Road. The 2-story house consisted of 4 rooms, with a central 3-sided fireplace on the first floor, with 2 rooms upstairs. Elisha Terry died in 1850, the same year the Bald Hill Schoolhouse was opened. The first schoolhouse in Farmingville was sold to the Bates family after the Bald Hill Schoolhouse was built. Members of the Bates family pose in this picture for a photo with one of their prized possessions, a spinning wheel. Farm families made their own clothes. A spinning wheel was used to twist yarn so that it could be made into cloth. A toll road once ran past Bald Hill in Farmingville, stretching for 15 miles from Patchogue to Port Jefferson, but it was a toll road used only for bicycles, now known as Bicycle Path. One of the more challenging sections of the road, as described by bikers, was one that went north past Granny Road. Here it became a wilderness trail passing near Danger Hill, now the site of the Vietnam Memorial. The name Horseblock Road is an old one dating back to the Revolution, when most homesteads along the road had stone or wooden blocks in front of their homes that were used for mounting or dismounting their horses. On several spots along the road, there were blocks for the convenience of stagecoach passengers. The blocks were commonly used as meeting places. The granny, for whom the Granny Road was named, was a legendary woman. Her name was Esther Penny. She was very well known as a local doctress. In earlier times, she might have been taken for a witch because she rode a fast horse and always wore a red Camelot wool cape, probably made from the wool of her own sheep. She was a beloved doctress, attending to those in need from Quorum to Yaphank. She doctored the sick, drew blood to reduce fevers, brought babies into the world, and mended broken bones. She compounded medicines from the herbs she grew in her own garden. This angel of mercy died in 1837 at the age of 102. The next time you see a street sign saying Granny Road, think about the amazing lady who traveled this same road 200 years ago on her flying steed on a long-forgotten errand of mercy. The one-room Greek Revival 1850 schoolhouse served the community of Farmingville from 1850 to 1929. The schoolhouse was heated by a pot-bellied stove that was fed with cordwood. Older boys were responsible to feed the stove during the day. Students would bring soup for lunch and put it on the stove to keep warm. Baked potatoes were often heated on the stove to serve to warm cold hands, as well as provide hot lunch on a cold day. There were 2 outhouses behind the schoolhouse, one for boys and one for girls. After the invention of chemical toilets, the outhouses were replaced with a small addition to the rear of the schoolhouse containing the chemical toilets. During this time, the schoolhouse also served the community as a meeting hall and as a temporary location for church services until the Congregational Church was completed in 1876. In 1928, the people of District 13 voted to consolidate Farmingville School District with Hotesville School District 35. The following year, the new Waverly Avenue School was built on Waverly Avenue, midway between Farmingville and Hotesville. Students from grades 1 through 8 attended the new 4-room school. Farmingville and Hotesville students that were planning to attend high school still had to travel to Patchogue for classes. Since 1885, Bald Hill students and their families have held an annual picnic on the schoolhouse grounds. At the 1929 annual picnic, friends were saddened by the thought that it might be their last reunion at the old schoolhouse. It was J. Grant Smith who suggested that an association be formed for the purpose of buying the 1850 schoolhouse, which was scheduled to be sold at auction. Mrs. Wendell Still of Selden was empowered to buy the schoolhouse and the 2¼ acre grounds. Shares were sold to friends and families of the students who attended the schoolhouse in order to raise enough money to buy the schoolhouse, and in doing so, the Farmingville Reunion Association was created. This year will mark the 128th anniversary of the Bald Hills Schoolhouse picnic. The schoolhouse was originally furnished with long wooden benches for seating. Students rotated to the front of the class when it was their turn to take lessons. Older pupils sat facing desks attached to the wall. Toward the end of the century, long benches were replaced with double wide wood and metal desks nailed to the floor. A water crock held drinking water for the students who brought their own drinking cups from home. Older boys were responsible to fill the water crock each day. Recollections of former students, Elmer Fogarty and George Holmes, tell the story of frogs being put into the well to scare the girls. They also tell of the harsh punishments they received by their teachers for their pranks. Waverly Avenue School opened in 1929, consolidating Hotesville and Farmingville schools. Mrs. Bussing and her horse are photographed here at the Bussing Farm, now the site of the Farmingville Hills Park. Land for the Farmingville Hills Park was the first parcel of land in Suffolk County to be purchased under the 1/4% tax, which enabled sensitive land to be purchased and preserved as open space. The 102-acre parcel currently has a marked 1.2-mile hiking trail. Farmingville's first fire department was formed in 1929 by Henry Hanrahan for his Farmingville Gardens development. He purchased a fire truck and housed it in a corrugated iron shed located on the southeast side of Hanrahan Avenue. This shed is now located behind the old Bussing-Keeble farmhouse on Horseplock Road. Until 1972, Hotesville and Farmingville were one fire district. When the Farmingville Fire District was created, there were only 16 members in the department. The Farmingville Fire Department is a volunteer fire department that protects the hamlet of Farmingville. It has an engine company, a ladder company, and a rescue company, as well as 2 fire stations and a substation. Farmingville has 4 named hills. Danger Hill and Breakneck Hill make up the hills of the Vietnam Memorial Site. Bald Hill is home to the cultural site, and Telescope Hill is the former location of the Farmingville Fire Tower in this picture that was once used as a fire observation station to detect wildfires in the rural community. Today it is used as a radio tower site. Bald Hill was the largest ski area to ever operate in Long Island. Operating from 1965 to 1980, this area had Long Island's only overhead cable lift, a T-bar, as well as 2 rope tows on a vertical drop of 200 feet. The parking lot for the area was on the top, and there was minimal snowmaking. Many Long Islanders learned to ski here. The current amphitheater is located on what was known as the advanced ski slope. The chairlift was on the stage right side of the amphitheater. The ski lodge building remains as an art gallery. The 100-foot Vietnam Veterans Memorial is a tribute to the men and women who served our country in Vietnam. Our town is a wealth of history. We welcome you to a historical tour of the 1850 schoolhouse on specific days during the spring and summer when it is open to the public. During those days, guests can experience what it was like to go to school during the 1800s. The schoolhouse is also open to scout troops by appointment. If you would like more information about the history of Farmingville, please speak to B.J. Intini, the president of the Farmingville Historical Society, or contact the Farmingville Historical Society at farmingvillehistoricalsociety@gmail.com.